All right, what's up? We are here, episode 12 of Moment by Moment. We are in the second form. We're in the Hustle and Show Series 2 set. Here with the fellas. What's up, King Brett, Treaticus, and
up?
Austin Kent. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Superman.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Hustle.
It's always fun to be able to chat some content. Series 2, let's go. Hustlin Show. Big week for Hustlin Show. Excited to be hustling with you guys.
Yes.
It is. That's a reason that we chose it. We knew S4 was getting released. All three of us are collectors of Series 2 and Series 3 and now Series 4. So we thought, what better way? Let's start from the original series of Hustle and Show and start breaking them down. So thanks for joining us. I'd love to dig in with the moments with you. And you always have, because you're the content curator lead and been around since Series 2, mid-Series 2, you always have some inside information and some nuggets. So I can't wait to talk to you about these moments.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Treat. What you got?
My favorite thing about Hustle and Show is that Marcus Smart is like the face of Hustle and Show. Like, right? I mean, Marcus Smart is the heart and soul of this set. So love that. Great
Absolutely.
job.
Hustle Player of the Year, 3 times in the last 5 years or something?
Hell yeah. He's always getting that.
And his hair is great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yep.
There you
Marcus
go.
I'm
Smart
talking about.
there. Oklahoma State, connected to Brandon Soul up there in the Oklahoma area as well, too. And then now connected to Treaticus and all the Celtic fans.
I love
That's
it.
right.
He checks all the boxes.
He really does. He really does.
But the Hustle and Show set, it's perfectly named because you get to find and curate clips where they're diving on the floor, hustling out of bounds, going to go get a rebound or a block, and then it's going the other way and transitioning or going into something else. It's got to be fun to curate that set.
Yeah, it's probably the most one of the most fun sets to curate over the course of the year.
Alpha.
I think so, just because they're so unique, they're so niche, they're so thematic, and this set, that debuted when it did in Series 2, we weren't really doing a whole lot of that. Now we almost exclusively thematic sort of niche sets. We spoke on that on the podcast earlier this week.
Right.
So this is really kind of the first sort of real proof of concept of that. And I love it. You described it perfectly. It's kind of like a tribute to the two sides of the game, Probably, I assume most of us in this room weren't throwing down windmills on the break. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anybody who played basketball can appreciate, those people just laying out on the floor burns. Like, to this day, my hips, I had hip pointers in high school. I look gross from floor burns over the years. So I'm a big fan of those sort of hustle plays. And, I just think a lot of people can see themselves in that type of basketball, which isn't going to make necessarily like MGLE, right? Somebody just diving on the floor. And then
you make a great point that all four of us really are not going to be the ones finishing the dunk on the backside of the play.
Right here.
But we could all make the hustle play to get it. And in this set, you guys are finding even players that are making that steal, and they're not the one finishing it, but they're able to get a moment because they made that spectacular effort, maybe put a little flair on it, and then it was finished by a big-time athlete.
Did you guys not have a go-to dunk just in case? You found yourself
you got up there?
I did. It was Dunkin' Donuts, and I go like this in the chocolate milk, hold it 4 seconds. 4, not 3, not 5, 4.
4 seconds.
Right in the mouth.
That's
that's a vet.
No, don't say it, Treaticus.
No, listen. But seriously though, you're practicing, and you're like, if I ever got a breakaway, not that you ever did it in a game, but you had something prepared. I'm not saying it was a windmill. What was it? Was it just a dunk?
2-hand slap the glass real hard.
There you go. I never reached the point where I could dunk a regulation size basketball on a regulation size net, but I peaked at being able to dunk a volleyball because I could.
Nice.
Oh,
listen, it's still a win.
There's
baby.
the athlete coming out.
Volleyball.
still a ball.
It's the hand size is such a big deal. People don't understand that. Being able to grab it and hold it tight with, that's why I was, I got big hand, but I still had to go two hands. If I was going to do anything of any real substance on the dunking part, I had to have the two hands.
Yeah, I just couldn't get up that high. I couldn't get up that high to do the two hands.
Okay. Now, I played with guys in college, though.
To the bottom. I lowered it all the way to the bottom, and I could do any dunk you wanted at that point.
There you go. Oh, those are the days. Those are the
Dunk
days. I spent my
basketball.
summers lowering the net to 7 feet.
There you go. Some of the most fun I had playing basketball was in college, because you're in class 2 hours, 3 hours a day. You had to do something else the rest of the day. So me and my buddies, this cute girl had a dunk goal, and but here's the thing that made it so much fun. It wasn't like playing all out. Like, you had to pick an NBA player, and you could only do their specialty, right? So, and you couldn't pick Jordan. So you had to pick somebody, and they could, and so if you were Reggie Miller, all you could do is shoot threes. If you were Lambeer, all you could do is foul. So it was so much fun, because it was just this, if I was like, if I picked Shaq or something.
Role playing basketball.
Yes. Even like if I had a little mid range, you had to be in close to dunk, or you didn't shoot at all. It was so much fun.
I love it.
I wish we could top shot those moments.
I do.
I had the Lambeer one leg out front shot. I had that down, man.
I had his fouling down. You weren't ever gonna dunk on me. I'll take the foul and just put my hand up. It was me, Mr. Official.
Sir,
yeah, you get dunked on. You get dunked on. It's just people making fun of you for days. You could not. No, don't let that happen to you. You're better than that.
I know.
Boys, we got some moments today. Hustlin Show, Series 2. Let's go ahead and dive into this first one. Speaking of curation, I did talk to the boys, and we picked one moment for sure curated for this specific guest, and we'll start with that one. I got Sadiq Bey in Hustlin Show Series 2. We got Detroit Stan Austin Kent here, so I'd love to talk with him about this one. Brett, give us a couple stats on Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey, love it, man. Love this set. This one, 18,000 moment count. This one's cool because it's a rookie year. It's a rookie mint. It's classified as a 3-pointer, but I love it because it's both ends of the hustle and the show in this moment. There's 243 of these bad boys burned, just over 500 for sale right now, and there's over 3,300 that are locked up. The low ask is right now currently $3. I love talking top sells. The top sell for this moment was $3,550.
Wow.
So right now you can get it for $3. Go buy it. Don't wait. But Sadiq Bey, man, hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina. 2020, he was first round 19th pick. And in this game specifically, 27 minutes with 12 points. So y'all break this down on what's happening on the court.
I love this one, and you mentioned like kind of why the fact that you get both parts of it, and a lot of times like you'll get plays that we have where it's like a dive on sort of the defensive end, and then he does something on offense, but he's kind of diving on offense just to keep the possession, which is kind of fun. He just sees it bouncing by, and he knows the only way he's actually going to get it is to be able to do that. And then what do you do after you hit the deck? What's left to do? You don't pat yourself on the back. You just get up, get into position to drill the shot. So I was really excited about this play, and for the first time in Top Shot, being able to have a place for a play like this. So that was really exciting too.
That's awesome, and it's no fans, which is weird, right?
Oh yeah.
And he's just a worker, isn't he? Right? I mean, he doesn't seem to be into a bunch of drama or anything. Or am I wrong about him? I mean, he's just
I loved Sadiq Bey for as long as we had him. Obviously, he went to Atlanta this year, and now we have James Wiseman. But he was a rookie here. We had Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart. The three of them were rookies, and kind of early on, it really kind of felt that Sadiq Bey, Villanova product, was kind of just stepping up, not afraid. This was a kind of a sorry Pistons team. Sadiq Bey kind of really emerged as one of the adults in the room and was doing stuff like this, So I really enjoyed Sadiq Bey's time.
Yeah, that's impressive. And he played well against the Celtics in the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing something right at Villanova because the guards that are being produced between Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Sadiq Bey, I mean, they're all coming out very polished and mentally ready. And as you mentioned, being the adult in the room already, like he's got a very mature game to him already as a very young age. Impressive player.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you picked this one for me to talk about. So I appreciate that.
That's a good one. That's a really good point about the Villanova guards and the maturity. I mean, that's been going on for a while now. Like like Brunson, isn't he Villanova?
Yeah, that's what I just said. No, I'm just kidding. They had championship runs multiple years. Jay Wright and them, they've been really good for the past 5 to 6, 10 years, and several of those guards are all coming. I mean, they were there 3-4 years and then came out and just very mature, good ball handlers and can score. They can do all kinds of things.
I mean, you'd want to hang on to a guy like Brunson, I would think.
Twist the knife.
Not if you're Dallas. I mean, why would you want him? Why have multiple good players?
Well, so I mean, they did. Sadiq Bey, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson all didn't get held on to. So
wow, that's interesting. What's up with that?
I think that they were not in Sadiq's place. Jalen was round 2. I think just he exceeded expectations and wanted to be paid like a first-round guy, which he probably should have been from what we just saw in New York this past season. And then Sadiq, they had a 3-team trade. He was drafted by the Nets on draft night, and the day after was traded to the Pistons in a 3-team trade. He was there, 3 seasons for you guys, Austin? And then was in a 4-team trade with Warriors, Blazers, and some other peeps here this last February.
Yeah, his deadline deal this year. And I think when he was part of the Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard trade, I think.
Oh, was he?
On draft night.
Big move.
Yeah. So the Pistons have made so many draft night trades, it's hard to keep track of them all. But I wonder if being that those if they're polished, NBA ready guys, I wonder if that makes them they kind of graduate from being a piece on a rebuilding team. It's not long before other teams start saying, "Hey, we know that guy's good. We want him." He's not a 21-year-old that's still learning how to,
right. He can help us right now. Instead of a 32-year-old veteran, you got a 25, 26-year-old veteran.
Yeah. You got more room.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That would make sense.
Because Mikal Bridge is also Villanova, right? Also another guy that got dealt.
There's some we're missing for sure. There's a list. They've been putting them out.
Yeah, definitely more than 4 people have come from Villanova in the NBA's history. Just throwing it out there. Probably so.
They're doing something right.
They are doing something right for sure. That's a good moment.
That is a good moment. I like the badged and the Detroit Piston to start. But let's move to moment 2.
How many badged Hustlin Show moments are there?
There's a couple. We did one last week with was it Chiozza?
Oh, that's right.
He debuted.
I chose it for
and then we got one this week. There's only maybe 2 or 3, but OG Anunoby. Go ahead, Brett. What you got? You guys can see that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that name 5 times. Mr. OG himself, I'll call him. 18,000 mint count. This one's a dunk. I love it. A little bit of show in this Hustlin' Show. 311 of these burned, 380 for sale, 3,590 locked up. Some interesting things too. There's a cool new thing on in the marketplace. It shows you how many are in locker room packs and as well. So there's 48 of these moments that are in the locker room if you end up getting into some locker room packs at some point. But there's still 1,111 of these moments still in packs.
Wow.
Still to be either released or disposed of at some date. But this is a $2 moment right now. The top sell is $420. Whoa. Hometown, you got a London, Great Britain guy here who was in the 2017 draft, 23rd pick of the first round. This game, he put up 35 minutes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals. So y'all break this down. What's happening?
I love, I mean, OG is such a guy who you associate with that hustle and defense and all that stuff. But to get him, like, if he gets out in transition, he'll throw something down here. Here you see a little bit of a kind of a reverse two-handed, kind of a Kobe tribute-esque.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the same family. I don't know if he does with the same level of flair, but it's the same family of dunk, that's for sure. And in typical OG Anunoby fashion, you just get the absolute deadpan reaction.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy who hit a game winner treat against your Celtics and then walked off the court like it's nothing. I don't shoot trying to miss, I believe he said. You just got to love this guy.
What a great quote, by the way. I don't shoot trying to miss.
Excellent quote. Excellent moment on Top Shot. It's, what was it? Was that the second round? That's the second round in the East, right? Yeah. It's from Series 1 if you want to go grab that Top Shot moment. But I love seeing it here. And we thought it was kind of interesting to have an OG moment where it's very kind of on the show end because he's such a player associated with the hustle side of basketball.
Love it. And he man, the space he gobbles up there to get this steal, you know, like the quickness and the length.
Yeah, those hands. How arm are those long?
Yeah. I mean, he's almost
his arms
at the free throw line, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is number 1, is that Dennis Smith Jr. who turns it over? Who's number 1? Somebody throws it away to him and doesn't even try to run back because he knows he's gone.
Yeah,
and LaMelo doesn't run too hard chasing him.
That's chasing him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, covered so much ground in that passing lane right there. 1 or 2 dribbles to get, like you mentioned, the Kobe tribute dunk almost. It's a nice finish. Great play.
He makes steals look easy. You know, OG will get 4 steals, 5 steals. You don't even really think about it. That's just how much of like a Hoover he is in the passing lanes. He can just pick everything up. And this is one of those Raps games that's in Tampa, right? Like they're not even in Toronto right now. They're in Tampa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is just sign of the bizarre times.
It was
right?
so weird. And he's a good one-on-one defender for sure. Like I've seen him lock down, you know, the best in the league on an island, and it's just very impressive.
I think he led the league in steals the year they won it in 19. The guy can just flat play defense.
Oh yeah,
wasn't part of my game.
Now what's going on with the Raptors? Anybody got any Raptor alpha? I mean, what's happening with that team? They kind of seem to be stuck in no man's land in the East, right?
Yeah, I mean, poor OG, he finds himself kind of in trade rumors. It feels like, you know, quite a lot, and the value that sort of gets kind of put on his name is quite high. You know, I think Masai does a good job of showcasing his players and pumping their tires, right? So, like, we'll see what they can get. It's an interesting time for that team, right? With like Fred VanVleet, you know, now hitting agency, like
maybe.
Yeah, I think he is free agent. Yeah.
So you got to wonder how many times do you run it back with the same crew if you know that it wasn't quite enough last year. They lost to Philly in the first round. Was even less enough this year when they didn't make it out of the play-in. I watch a lot of Raptors games, just obviously being in the Toronto area, and I have faith in the organization for being able to develop all their guys. OG is a great sort of example of that, but you got to wonder now if with Nick Nurse gone, with VanVleet potentially gone, like it just seems maybe the writing's been on the wall for a year or two now, but maybe a big shakeup's coming.
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't know what goes into writing the descriptions for the moments, Austin, because we've been really into reading them as we've been going through these moments on the show. We like to read that and find little nuggets in there because sometimes it'll give us context that we don't see in the video and whatnot. And on this one, it says a quote unquote subtle rock the baby dunk, which you were mentioning already. But then it says quote unquote no big deal at the end. And I just died laughing. But it's part of how OG reacts. Treat knows this as a coach's son as well. But I was always told, act like you've been there before. You know, don't celebrate and show that this is the first time you've ever done something like this. Just get back on defense. They're going to call timeout. Act like it's no big deal. I love it.
I love that. Our descriptions have taken several sort of phases over the years. In Series 1 and early Series 2, they're very short. You know, you probably noticed. And they're kind of generic, like, ooh, baby, like Kyle Lowry with the like spicy dish, like, and that's kind of the extent of it. But then in mid-Series 2, this was one of the first things I did. I did this even before I was full-time at that, but I started doing the descriptions I just on a contract. Back when I was still working at Slam, I was doing some of this as well. And and at first I was sort of emulating that kind of tone. But then you'll notice that the descriptions kind of get longer and longer. And then we've since shifted. I no longer write most of the descriptions. I write some of the descriptions, but most of them are done by a guy named Ed. And he's just this, like, all the Series 4 descriptions are basically written by Ed. And he's this like researcher extraordinaire who's written like for like Cardboard. I think he's written for Panini. Like he's written for newspapers. So you'll get like, it just like a whole paragraph, really just kind of really diving into all that context. Like it's just, when I was writing the descriptions, you'd kind of get a good summary of the play itself. But now when Ed's writing the descriptions in Series 4, you just get so much more. And it's just like if you have that moment and you're excited about that moment and you're proud of that moment, it just gives you that extra level of depth if you want it. Yeah. But one of the things we tried to do is like, I don't want you to have to read the paragraph to understand why that play is significant. Like, it's there as a last, like as an escape plan, like
complimentary, but not necessarily necessary.
We should be able to convey the context through the cut of the footage. So that's why you see a lot more, intro shots or celebration footage. You see a lot more of that in the cuts these days. And I hope soon we can start providing more of that context with things like, you'll notice like when you share a moment link on Twitter, like the headline it's kind of very much a contextual headline that's like, it's 50 to 80 characters. And it literally says, in a nutshell, this is what that play is. Yeah. Because we don't want people to not know that. Right. And you shouldn't have to read a paragraph buried like below the fold on the page to know that.
Yeah. Most of us are lazy. We don't do a lot of reading.
Yeah. We want to make it obvious. Like, so conveying that context.
Love that.
Well, so shout out to Ed for the new.
Shout out Ed.
But,
Ed.
But also shout out to you. I didn't know you were writing them during that too. Awesome, I'm glad I asked. That's pretty funny.
So anything in late, like mid to late S2, I would have wrote. S3, we had a couple of contractors, and S4, it's been all Ed.
So
now
we
got to go digging through them. I got to find some autographed Austin Kent's.
A new niche, Austin Kent written description.
There you go.
That could be a whole new thing.
Put it in the metadata.
In that case, this needs to come out in 3 weeks, so it gives us time to buy up all the moments.
Exactly.
Boys, we got one more. Let's jump to the third moment if you guys are ready.
Yeah, we're ready, baby.
Never heard of this guy.
I got Mr. Rudy Gobert.
Who?
What you got, King Brett?
Rudy Gobert. 18,000 mint count. This is a block. I love it. When I watched it, I was like, whoop, whoop. Is my sound effect for this one. There's 80 of these burned, just about 900 for sale in the marketplace, 3,500 locked up. There are 54 in the locker room that's out there. Possibly could be yours one day. But there's 604 of these still in packs that are out there. $2 low ask right now, and the top sells $650. But hometown boy, St. Quentin, France, if you will, first round, 27th pick in the 2013 draft. This game, though, specifically 29 minutes, 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks, one of them being featured here. Break this down, guys.
Man, I love these reminders of what Rudy Gobert can be,
Yeah.
Sorry, I
It's
shouldn't
just-
laugh so hard.
absolute terror, absolute menace. I have an inkling to think that is this the first double block moment on Top Shot? We've got several of them now, and a lot of times they end up being hustle and show. I think
I was going to ask about it because I can't think of another one. I know that there's multi-plays, but man, get that out of here twice.
Giannis has a double block. I think that was the reward in Series 3. There's a Miles Turner double block, and he hits the deck between the two blocks. That's nice. But I love this Rudy Gobert double block. He's a beast. I remember watching Rudy Gobert in Summer League in what did you say, 2013? 2013, dialed up on whatever version of little MacBook Pro was around in 2013. And I just watching these rookies and seeing, because he was drafted late, I'm like, how this guy has such an impact on the court. Like there's just, even though he's, you think he's just this big guy that's not going to get playing time buried on the bench. We've seen a lot of those, but he's evereverhere. If he's not directly blocking a shot, he's influencing entire offensive strategies when he's out there. And, the whole Minnesota experiment didn't really work out, all that well, I guess. I mean, whatever. They made the playoffs and it's in their first year together, but Rudy can just be so unprecedentedly impactful. And I think you really see why in this moment.
This is the type of play that Minnesota was watching when they made the trade. They were like, we got to have this guy. He's going to change. He's going to anchor the defense. Look at him.
Yeah, it's 8 first-rounders right there. Come on. Four first-rounders for each block.
Wow, what a haul.
Imagine if he blocked 3. Whoa.
Yeah.
3-time All-Star, 3-time defensive player. Led the league in blocks in 2017 and then led the league in rebounds this past year in 2022. Dude can play some defense.
And so much of the game now, right, is if you've got a goaltender like that, it changes because everybody's wanting to penetrate or kick, right? And so if you've got somebody like that, the defense has got such an advantage.
Yeah,
because you're going to have to play the game.
The mid-range is out of the game, so you're trying to get a layup or a 3, and you're taking the layup out by having him in the game.
That's right. It's tough, man. I felt that with the playing, the playoffs this year against the Sixers. Man, when Embiid was in there, it was just like can't even drop a play.
Yeah, it's like as the league goes smaller and is more, perimeter centric. It just makes if you do have a big guy and that big guy is mobile enough to not be run off the floor. It's just it's just this giant that just looms there. And I mean, even saw Jokic. I mean, there's parts of Jokic's defense that you don't love, but just Jokic being that presence there, you kind of feel like it was changing Jimmy Butler's approach a little bit. So if you got Rudy Gobert, just fully devoted to protecting that rim. I'm not going anywhere near that. I'll just jack up a 25-footer.
I would tell kids that as a coach, when you're blocking a shot, just your presence is enough to make them nervous to miss it. You don't have to swing and try to kill it. Just being there is going to make them think about it. And just having that presence, as you mentioned.
They know you're there. That's for sure.
Well, just in this moment, his team knew he was going to block it because there's 3 other people there, and Rudy's the only one that even goes in the air. You're all just like, all right, you got this, Rudy. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Didn't think about that, how you can slack off a little bit defensively if you got that guy.
You can run out Niang, Joe Ingles, and Jordan Clarkson and not have to worry about it.
That is exactly right.
The words right out of our mouths.
You want to go in there? Go ahead.
Yeah, the rotations are a whole lot more flexible.
Oh man, what a great moment though.
Really good moment. The double block could be the first one. We're gonna check that out and get back to you.
Yeah. I think that might be.
All right, boys. Those are 3 good moments.
Ooh,
3 good
that's
moments.
A double block,
and
it was the description written by Austin Kent. I mean, that makes it even more scarce on the platform.
I should have just signed my name to these. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes, it should happen. Can we do that? Is that technology ready where you can sign it? Because I think there's a market for the Austin Kent signed description.
Move over, Magic Johnson. There's an Austin Kent sign on it. So
Magic's great and everything, but when can we get the leaderboards for Austin Kent autograph?
That's what I'm talking about. The anthology.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, me dunking a volleyball. It's the
Oh my gosh, that's a challenge reward right there, baby.
Yes, that's the challenge
right.
reward. I love that.
I love the set. This is probably one of my favorite sets. This set, Extra Spice as well. It's really very thematic, community building, common sets. I love them, and I remember. Here's some not alpha, some context. Hustlin Show. Okay, this is gonna be funny. This is series 2, obviously February of series 2, right? When does it drop? Maybe March or April. I think it would have dropped.
Yeah.
Crazy time in Top Shot. Obviously it was nuts. Things were growing like crazy, and we were looking for content. This was back when people would yell at us, "When packs," right? This is when people different days, and we were coming up with this set. The team was working on trying to get another set that was, part of the initial plans, but it hadn't actually been concrete sort of concept for the set hadn't been delivered yet. Team was having a meeting about what this new set would be called. Like I said, when we spoke on our podcast last week, it's nice seeing you guys again, by the way. When we spoke last week, we talked about, just being able to have sets that fit a certain theme, as opposed to just being more good basketball, right? And I knew I kind of wanted to start doing this, even at that point. But I missed the meeting where we were naming it. I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I think I was at a call or something. And so these guys are having a meeting about what they would name.
Glossed right over that.
Alpha.
Alpha. There's the alpha.
It's like, oh, geez, no big deal.
Me, you guys, let's go.
Austin Kent is saving this thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I come back from the fire call, and they're like, okay, we named the set Hustlin Show. I'm like, okay, what's a Hustlin Show? I'm like, and like, it's based off of like Hustle and Flow, the movie. We were really getting really cute with it at that point. So they're like, it's like a play on words. And they're like, okay, well, like, what's the set about? And there was no concept for what this set was. It was just a pun. Like I was just a pun.
That was
the whole entire concept of what makes a Hustle and Show moment was like retroactively, I kind of squished into that name that they told me the set was going to be called. And I'm like, well, hustle, hustle is a fun word for basketball. And, that just concept that was very interesting to me. And then we're like, Hustle and Show can have that sort of duality of basketball, those gritty, grimy, diving plays and those really fancy spotlight on you, fast break, showmanship type plays. And so the entire concept and existence of Hustle and Show as we know it was sort of retroactively stuffed into a movie pun that I was not in the room for.
Great,
but
dude.
now I kind of I love it. It's grown on me.
That's so cool. How that came up, that is awesome. That is outstanding.
Accidentally awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, naming goes all the way. I remember
dude.
So when we knew, okay, so the reverse scenario is like when we knew we wanted to have another set in a similar vein where it's accessible, it's fun, communities can get built around it, people can sort of see themselves in it, and we wanted plays and reactions that would get you basically in trouble with your coach. And you guys all seem to be reffing or coaching, right? So we want a set where like it's plays that your coach will kind of frown at you or pull you for, or it's reactions that the coach might pull you for. And that came to be Extra Spice, obviously.
Nice.
So the set's kind of half and half. It's like some plays are in there because the reaction's just way over the top and ridiculous and awesome. And sometimes it's just like LaMelo Ball like spinning after throwing a pass into the post. But we tried so hard to name that set, and I think we tried a couple different things. Sometimes naming these sets can become quite a battle. What we pitched the curation team, I say as if it's a big thing, was just like kind of me and Brandon basically, and at the time that we're just kind of pushing for this. But if I say we as a team, it seems like we're larger in numbers. But we were pushing for extra sauce. You put a little extra sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Extra sauce.
OG name, but
I'd sauce that.
we couldn't get it approved because we work with a lot of different partners and we just couldn't get that name approved. So that's why we ended up extra spice, which we kind of love because these plays are a little spicy.
That has to be a battle, not only to come up with something that you think is cool, that's going to fit, that's going to be long term, but then you have to get it approved by multiple layers that isn't just right there in the room. That's a lot of hoops.
A lot of hoops.
Worth
That's
it though,
really
because
cool.
these two sets.
Yeah,
I mean, and
love
Hustlin
it.
Show being the sort of the OG, the godfather of this sort of type of set. I just love it so much. I'm happy we have it, and I'm happy we're able to keep that going this year in a unique new way, where it was a trade ticket pack. So that's good.
Yeah.
Me too. This was one of the first sets on Top Shot that I ever collected. So
Yeah.
I think this same one of the first for you too, right? 3-ball.
Mm-hmm. We did this together, Series 2 specifically, and it was just one of the first times that us common collectors were starting to get a hold of some things. We'd gotten into archive and different things, but Hustlin Show just spoke to us. There were so many different aspects of the game, big time players and other guys that you're getting to learn about. Like we mentioned, a rookie moment today that we all know about already. So really cool set. I love that it came back for S4 and love that we got to have you on today, Austin, and talk about these 3 moments and the set in general.
Yeah. Good time.
Speaking of hard choices, I do have a question. This is called moment by moment here, and I'm going to force you all to choose your favorite of the day.
It's tough.
Austin, we're going to save you for last because you're obviously always going to be right.
Yes.
3-ball, I know you always want to go first, but we're going to start with the man, the myth, the legend, Treaticus. You got Rudy, you got OG, and you got Sadiq, baby. Who are you going with and why?
Man, this is a tough one. I mean, they're all good moments. I think I'm going to go with OG just because of his attitude. Like, it's just – I appreciate that so much, especially in the NBA. And I do get a little bit tired of all the drama and all the complaining about calls and all the flailing around and BS. So just to see a guy make a steal, a dunk like that, and just go, yeah, it's Tuesday. Yeah, so this is another day.
Another day.
He's just picking up his lunch box. He puts his boots on. You know what I'm saying? He's going to work.
Just doing the thing, man.
Clocking in.
I respect that.
Yeah. So
That's right.
I'm OGing.
All right, OG for Treat. 3-ball. What do you think, bud?
Great comments, Treat. I definitely agree with those. I would love to talk about all 3 moments, but I'm just going to cut to the chase. Sadiq Bey for me. I love the 3-pointer, but I love the hustle first. Diving on the ground, getting it to a guy, and then he immediately relocates and gets his feet set since that defender lost him. 3-ball is going to go for the 3-ball from Sadiq
Nice.
Bey.
Okay.
Oh, Sadiq. I like it.
I can respect that. I think he's kissing your ass, Austin, picking this.
All right, I like it.
All right. I'm not kissing anybody, just for the record. And it's weird. It's not weird. It's interesting you said you like it. So we'll come back to that the next time. Man, we got some whoop whoop. You got some show. I got to go Sadiq too, man. I like badges. I like rookie year. I like I like the guy who puts himself on the line, and
Austin's not hiring on the curation team, guys. Stop.
Feeling extra kissed. I love this.
I mean, there's something for not stopping when you do something great. And I think a lot of players do something great and they stop, a block, a steal, and then they just walk and they let the play transition. And we were always told, do something great, get up like you've done it 1,000 times, get in position and keep going. And that's what he did. So hometown Charlotte, North Carolina boy Sadiq's got 2 votes. We got OG, Great Britain, London with 1, Austin. I know it's going to be a really hard choice for you, but out of the 3, who's your moment by moment? Who's your moment of the week?
Okay, so we've the Pistons already clinched it here. This is good because it gives me a chance to throw some respect on Rudy Gobert's name.
Okay.
I mean, I like what this play just represents. Just being able to get a bit more creative in what we show. And, over the course of the years, starting in series 2 and moving forward, we're adding these different elements and just to be able to kind of, you get one block, but then like the camera keeps rolling and then you get another block, starting to be able to sort of, step into these other directions and be able to show, these new types of moments was really kind of fun. And this was like kind of a building block to do that more and more in the future. It's just something about Rudy Gobert's impact. I just feel like this really sums it up. So I'm happy that my guy Sadiq clinched it. Another example of really us sort of kind of getting out of our own way and starting to be a little bit more creative in what we showed, what we considered a moment. Yeah. Like that's what this set is filled with things like that. But no, I like that particularly about these ones.
Dude, I love it. One for every player. This doesn't happen very often, which is pretty great. But it goes to show you, in my humble opinion, that dude, Hustle and Show set. If you haven't checked it out, if you haven't dove into S2, S3, especially S4, which we all agree is fire, get into it because these are some awesome moments from some awesome players as well. So
we snuck in that dove in verbiage. Nice Hustle and Show reference.
Yes, SAT words. But everyone out there listening and watching, type in Morse code in, send in pigeon birds. Let us know who's your moment of the week. Do you like Sadiq? Do you go in OG like Treaticus, or the man, the myth, AK going Rudy Gobert? You can't go wrong either way. They're all great moments. So we want to hear you. Type it, write it. Let us know your thoughts out there.
Thank everybody for joining us today. Treaticus, King Brett, man, Austin, thank you so much for your time, for joining us today on Moment by Moment. It was a blast.
A lot of fun.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun to be able to go through these sets with you guys. I appreciate you guys doing it too, because it shines a light on some stuff in the past that we may not be thinking about as much as we're going forward. But it's always a pleasure to be able to go back and look at it. It's fun.
Yeah, y'all keep creating awesome moments, and we're going to catch up with you and do different series right behind you. We'll just keep going over them here on Moment by Moment, and hopefully we can have you again and keep pushing the basketball like you guys have been.
Amen.
I love it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. See you guys.